Today we are going to use bundle groups and sketch revolve to make a fantastic Tinkercad Gyro Fidget. So let's get cracking. This is Tinkercad.com. You can simply choose sign in with Google. This is where your designs are stored. Today we're going to create a brand new 3D design by simply hitting create 3D design. I like to start by naming our projects. You do that by simply clicking right here. We're going to call this one Gyro Fidget, and I've made a few of these, so I'm going to put V5. When you click down here, it automatically saves. Tinkercad, we generally just bring out shapes as we build. Today we're going to use the awesome sketch revolve. Before we do that though, I want to show you that if we visit the dashboard, this all instantly saved. Everything saves to the cloud. It is private unless you choose to make it public. I'll show you how to do that at the end of this project. Right now we can hit tinker this to return to our project. Once again, I don't need these parts, so I'm just going to delete them. If you're just learning Tinkercad, I've got a lot of day one tutorials. I'll put the bit.ly to them right here. Today we are going to build with the fantastic sketch revolve. When you bring this out, I'm showing you that it fits in a 20 by 20 grid, and this is easier if you line it up like that. If you've never seen Sketch before, they've got an awesome tutorial right here. You can click through this at your leisure. They've got animations, all kinds of skills, and it's updated all the time. I'm going to close it right now so you can check that out at your leisure. If you prefer my tutorials, I've got a playlist. You can use the bit.ly right here to check them out. So we're going to build like this. Set your nudge or your snap to 0.5. That lets us easily get out to 1.5. So this is going to end up having a size 3 diameter. I'm going to tell you to move up 4 millimeters, then come back to the middle and go up 2 millimeters and simply connect it. This point is what our gyro fidget is going to spin on. We're going to hit finish sketch, and then we're going to make a twin of it using Control D. We're going to set the second one to be a hole, and we're going to edit that sketch. Now this one, you can obviously see them both. We're going to make a little bit larger for the cutout. Set your nudge to 0.1, double click, grab this wall, and I'm going to tell you to move it out 0.2 millimeters. You may want to try 0.3. I'm going to stick with 0.2. It depends on how much gap your printer can handle. Of course, since I did 0.2, I'm going to do 2 clicks that way. If I were doing 0.3, I would just do 1 more click. So this is how we build the part and the gap. The other thing is we want this bottom piece about 1 centimeter, or if you want, you could do 1.5 centimeters. It doesn't matter because there will be a gap there. When we hit finish sketch, that is the part that makes this all work. Now I do want to move the pin down 0.2 of a millimeter. I'm going to do that by doing Control down 2 times. And then I'm going to take these two and I'm going to make them a bundle group by doing Control B. Bundle groups are amazing because the whole part here cannot cut the part that's inside. We're going to use that in a few minutes to make this awesome. Right now we're simply going to rotate this 90 degrees. Notice it's 22.5 degrees per turn, or you can hold down shift and it's 45 degrees per turn. I am going to hit D to drop so it's sitting on the work plane, and then I'm going to move it out of the way. Now we're going to build the awesome gyro part. To do that, I'm going to switch back to the 1 millimeter nudge. Once again, we are going to grab the sweet sketch revolve and drop it in a 20 by 20 location. I'm going to simply click and move out 10 millimeters. Then I'm going to go out 2, up 2, and then I'm going to come back 4 up, and I'm going to connect that. So right now it's got a sharp edge. Check this out though. Double click to edit. Click on that point. Press number 2, and it turns into a smooth curve. Nudge this up 1 click, and it's perfect. Now I want the whole thing to be a total of 2 centimeters. So I'm just going to grab this entire front and use the arrow keys to nudge it back. Just like that, you've got the awesome center for your gyro. All right, so now we can press P for pen. A 2 millimeter straight line. Doesn't matter where you start, we'll move it when we're done. I'm going to go up 2 over 1, and then I'm going to bring that back. So we're just making a little hexagon. I can click to finish that, And then let's double click and double click to auto smooth it. So this makes these ends pretty cool, but we want this center section to be flat. So just grab it and press 1. And then bingo, our part is built. Notice if these dimensions are ever in your way, you can get rid of them just like that. I'm just double checking that I had my 3mm gap. I do, so now I can do Control C and Control V, and then use the arrow keys to nudge the other one out until it's got the same gap. Now you can make as many of these rings as you want. I am going to stop with this number, and I'm simply going to hit Finish Sketch. I do want to bump up the sides. This makes it look a little bit more smooth. And now we can place these little pins. I'm going to select it all, do L for align, click on this one, and I want it to be centered. And I'm going to take it all the way to this edge. Now I can click on this and I'm just going to back it out. And what I'm looking for is this gap right here. I'm going to set my nudge to 0.5. And I just want to make sure I've got a nice chunk of the green on the outside. It ends up being essentially about 1mm. Now I'm going to do Control D to make another one, Shift Nudge to move it to the other side, and use the Flip tool to mirror it. To make it more precise, I'm going to do L for align. Make sure I click on this piece right here and bring it to that same spot the other one was. Now if I bring it back 1, 2, 3 clicks, I've got that same distance on both sides. I'm going to select these with Shift Select. Do Control D. I'm going to rotate that around the middle. Once again, staying inside, so the 90 degrees is super simple. And then we just nudge these back to the inner ring. Shift nudge gets us close. And then I'm going to nudge it back so I've got about that same gap. See this little line right here? I can see that line right there, so that means those are lined up. Once again, Shift nudge does 10 times as far. And then I can just nudge it back until I see that line in about the same spot. I will let you know you can hit Fit View and Top View to line it up just a little bit better. And I think that's the one I want. And with those in place, I'm going to Shift Select these two and do Control B to bundle them. And I'm going to Shift Select these two and do Control B to bundle them. That lets me grab this set, choose L for align, and make sure that they're aligned this way. And then I can grab this set. Notice I'm only going through the middle. Once again, L for align, and I want to align these this way. Finally, I'm going to grab everything and do L for align, and I want to make sure they are in the center. Now I'm going to quickly add my initials using the basic text that's built in. When you click on it, you type in the letters you want. I'm going to just put HL, and then I'm going to Shift Shrink so that it fits. That looks pretty good. I am going to change the height to 0.5. That's how far I'm going to set it in. I'm going to make it a hole, and then I'm going to Shift Select these two parts. Once again, L for align, and I want to make sure the green one is the boss, and choose center, center, and then this one needs to go to the top. That way it'll sink in. Now I can grab the entire project and do Control G to union group. Now this is where the magic happens. This takes longer because it's doing all the calculations to actually cut these in. You are also going to see in a moment how this one right here cuts this piece, so there will be a gap, but it does not cut the pin that was sitting inside. Bang! There it is. Zoom in. I'm going to hit T for transparent so you can see how those parts are going to be there even though they print in place. How cool is that? I'm going to quickly click on this and shut off transparency. All right, let's get this exported for 3D printing. Simply hit Export, Selected Shape, STL. Note it does take a moment to export. I'm going to save mine in my 3D modeling folder, and I'm going to keep the name Gyro Fidget V5 and hit save. Now we can bounce to Bambu Studio. I'm going to hit Create New Project. Let's add that file. Once again, there it is in my 3D modeling folder. When it comes in, today I'm going to work with my PLA Tough from Army. I'm going to use the standard settings. We can zoom in and you can see how those letters are going to cut in. Let's hit Slice Plate and check it out. It's going to be done in about 15 minutes. How cool is that? print plate, and finally send it to the 3D printer. While it's printing, let me show you how to make your designs public. This way, if you make an awesome one, you can share it so I can check it out. Simply click on the gear, choose properties, give it a name that makes sense. Of course, mine has the tutorial. I'm going to share that in a bit. I also have all kinds of other information for how you can reach me. And then this is the important one. Tag it with HLMT23. Note you do have to press enter for it to be up there. And then finally make your design public. Now, as a license, you need to pick share alike if you want users to be able to open and edit your design. Choose no derivatives if you want them to just be able to see it and give reactions. Finally, hit save changes. Once you do that, it will be public and eventually it will show up in the community gallery. Notice when you visit the gallery, you will see the staff picks. These are always awesome. Make sure you check them out and give a reaction. Notice if you find one of mine, there is quite often a tutorial. If you want to see all of my designs, you can click right here. Of course, reactions are always appreciated. Right now though, let's quickly shut off the staff picks and check out the fun designs that are shared. Of course, you can click on these and instantly give reactions. You just never know whose day you might be making. Real quickly, I'm going to type in that tag HLMT23. Note when you first show up there, they are sorted by relevance. We want to see them by recent, and bingo. There is our project, along with the thousands of projects that are shared by users all over the world. It is so awesome to see all the designs, and it absolutely makes my day when they're based off my tutorials. Thanks, Mutong. And here we are, less than 20 minutes later. A Gyro Fidget. Let's go test it. Alright, so here we are. This is the latest version just off the printer. And it works like a champ. These are using those 0.2 gaps, which are pretty darn slick. This one's pretty small to get spinning, but I believe the more you play with it, the better it'll spin. This one I made a little bit larger. Once again, spins really well. Just depends on how long you want to print them. It is super sturdy. It's one of my early prototypes. Obviously spins really well, but I think I forgot to align it. How funny is that? So a quick wrap up. Once again, love the bundle group and the ability to draw that with Sketch Revolve was awesome. It did take a while to group, so I may go back and remake this again with the tube. Both systems are slick. You can decide which one you think is the best. Of course, if you make one public, don't forget to add that tag HLMT23 so I can check it out. I do want to quickly say thank you to everybody that supports me via YouTube memberships. Don't forget there are 3 different levels of support starting as low as $5 a month. With any level of support, of course, you get early access to videos. Please make sure you also keep an eye out for the members only post. Also, a massive shout out to everybody that supports me via Patreon. We have passed 300 members. It has a fantastic messaging area where you can ask questions, gain skills, share designs. Of course, you can learn more with a bit.ly up above or the link in the description. Finally, friends, I want to thank you for watching. Don't forget every time you hit that like button, hype button, share a video, add a comment down below, or click subscribe. You're helping HLModTech get just a little bit bigger, which absolutely makes my day. Friends, have a glorious day and keep tinkering.